welcome to Mrs. D's Baking TV. I'm Mrs. D, and welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my channel. So today on my channel, I will not hold you long because most of the mixing part on this video is already done. I'm not bringing you here to show you how to scoop cookies on a tray. No. So you see this nice tub of cookie dough here? Back on 10/31, see that? I packaged like 6 of these, maybe more, because I knew I wanted to do some baking during the holiday season. So I put together cookie dough and I put, what's in it. This is oatmeal raisin craisin cookies with coconuts and walnuts. Bake at 350 for 10 minutes. Got all the instructions. Yeah. So one day my husband goes, I'd love to have some cookies. So it's like, you know what? I just finished making up some cookie dough. Let me get out a tub out of the freezer. So I get a tub of cookie dough out of the freezer, thaw it out, bake a batch of cookies. They look horrible. It looked like I'd taken maybe a teaspoon of flour and mixed it with a pound of butter with some other ingredients and baked it. It was a mess. And then it hit me. I had tripled the recipe, but I had not tripled the amount of flour that I added to the recipe. So that's why the cookies didn't come out right. What I thought was a mistake ended up being a victory. Let me tell you why. Because if you saw on my video where I introduced some of the things that I had baked, and I told you guys that for Thanksgiving, I'd baked some oatmeal raisin cookies for my family, and I had introduced them to freshly milled flour by using half regular flour and half freshly milled flour. Well, this is the reason why I was able to do that, because I had all that cookie dough that I had made that I thought was a mistake already prepared. So I thought, why not come on camera and show you guys? This is the thing. If you are contemplating starting on your milling grain journey, making your own flour journey. Sometimes people say milling my own flour. Sometimes people say milling grains. Sometimes people say milling wheat berries, whatever the term. If you decide you want to start on this journey, this is a good way to introduce grains, freshly milled flour to your family without like the shock, like, oh, I don't like this. And then you've invested all of this money into buying grains and a meal, and your family's like, take us back to the way we used to eat. So what you can do is you can purchase a small amount of grains. You don't necessarily have to buy a meal, because I've watched several people on YouTube before I purchased my meal who had milled their grains using a blender, a Vitamix, and things of that nature. So you can go on, you can order maybe a small container of grains and do a 50-50 recipe. Now, I did say on the previous video that I was going to do my bread 50-50, but I'm all the way in. I'm all the way in. The only reason I'm doing this recipe like this is because I've got to correct this cookie dough. Now, I could add all-purpose flour, because I still do have all-purpose flour here in my home, but I'm on this grain journey now, so I want to continue. So basically, the only ingredient we need for this recipe are our wheat berries. And what I have here is soft white wheat. See that? And you use soft white wheat for pastries, cookies, anything that doesn't require yeast. So we're going to mill these up, and we're going to mix it with the cookie dough, and voila, we're going to have cookies. Well, after I bake them. And we're all going to do a taste test today. So continue to watch, and I'll show you what happens when you combine freshly milled flour with conventional all-purpose flour. All right, first thing we're going to do, always turn on your mill before you start to mill your grains. just like that, we are done. And for my beginners, I'm still in that category. Our flour is still just a little warm, but because this was frozen and it's still cold, I'm not worrying about cooling down the flour or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I am just going to add all of this cookie dough to this bowl, add the flour, mix it together, and get these cookies in the oven. I can still smell the cinnamon. Oh my goodness. Woo! When you use quality ingredients, they tend to, linger for a while. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to use my mixer to mix this together or mix it by hand, because I don't want to change the structure or I don't want to change the consistency of my dough. So what I'm going to do, I decided to use my handheld mixer to mix my flour into my cookie dough. Okay, just thought about something. I think that I'm going to add an egg to this mixture because I need some more moisture. And in the original recipe, there is no milk or any other liquid. I'm going to add another egg. I love coming up with things on the fly. I like to teach. So I like to teach you guys things in real time. In real time, what's going on. So if this happens to you, you'll go, oh, I remember what Miss D did. She added an extra egg because in the original recipe, there's no other liquid. So let's get another egg. Now, I will tell you this, because my dough is already pretty chilled, I just grabbed an egg out of the refrigerator. If I were doing this from start to finish, all of my ingredients probably would be room temperature. So let's just go ahead and add this egg. Being careful not to get any shells in here. Let's see what we're working with. Let's see if this helps our dough out any. Okay, yep, it is hydrating a little better. Okay, guys, we are learning together. That's what we do here on Mrs. D's Baking TV. I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. How about that? Yep, that's perfect. Look at that. Oh yeah, my hands are clean, but look at that. That's gonna come together nicely. Yep, that's all we needed. So let's get these in the oven as soon as possible. And I am using a relatively large cookie scoop. Okay, and we're gonna bake these in the oven, which I've already preheated at 350 for 10 minutes. I may have to add a minute, just depends, because this is a pretty heaping scoop of cookie dough. So let's get these in the oven. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Actually, I added one additional minute. Ooh, these look good. Okay, Mrs. D. Yes, look at that. These look delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna let these cool. Don't eat hot cookies, y'all. You gotta wait. Okay, so we're gonna let these cool. They smell absolutely delicious. And while these are cooling, I'm gonna get some more in the oven. And I'm going to flatten these out just a little bit because these look like they have like a little dome on them, and that's fine, but I'm just going to flatten these out because I want to see what they're going to look like if I flatten them out. But that is the Nutritional, a fat cookie. And did I tell you that this recipe also has coconut flakes? This original recipe is on my channel. So you can go back. I'll probably list it at the end of this video so you can go back and watch it. All righty, let's get these in the oven. 11 minutes, not 10. Okay, are these ready to eat? No, they're not. Just wait, Mrs. D. Okay, I got dishes to wash. To put in the dishwasher, actually. You know I'm not washing the dishes. And let's get that second batch out of the oven. Ooh, these smell so good, so good, so good. Okay, so I'm gonna let the second batch cool on the pan. Now, looks like the second batch browned a little better. I don't know if it's because I used the silicone mat and I used parchment paper on the first batch, but they clearly look different. But I think that I do like smashing them down a little bit. It looked a little bit more uniform. So we'll let these cool, and then you know what's coming up next. Stop dancing, Mrs. D. Only dance when it's taste test time. And then you know what's coming up next. It's taste test time. Okay. I can't prepare it this time. What does that glass say? Best wife ever. My husband and I just celebrated our anniversary, so I guess I'm feeling myself a little bit. Yeah, 35 years, guys. 35 years. Yes, so it is taste test time. Okay, I don't know if I want one from the first batch or the second batch, but let me let you see the difference, okay? This is from the first batch. This is what we did on parchment paper, and then this is what we did on the silicone mat. I don't know, it just looks like these baked up a little browner. But let me let you see, instead of 10 minutes, I did 12 minutes. Whoa, look at the height. Look at that. This is the one that we smash or mash down, and this is the one that we just kept in the heap. But I like the browning on the second one. So I think I'll be using that silicone mat. I don't know, maybe the oven was just a little bit warmer. But anyway, it's time to taste it. All righty. Presentation. Okay, let's see. Ooh, nice and moist. Yes, this does not look dry at all. Let's taste it and see. Well, I already know that these cookies are good because I've been making this recipe now for quite a number of years, but not with freshly milled flour. This is my second time tasting it because remember we did this for Thanksgiving. Here we go. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. First of all, an oatmeal raisin cookie is just the best. But I can tell the difference. I am growing to love freshly milled flour, guys. Oh my goodness, that is so good. Nice and hearty. Oh my goodness. Let's just, is this cookie dunkable? Well, of course it is, Mrs. D. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. That's a good cookie. I didn't forget, we need to list the nutritional facts Let's list the nutritional facts for this cookie, because remember, now that we're milling our own flour, I say we, as if there's a whole community, there is. Now that we're milling our own flour, we don't have to feel so guilty about eating these cookies because we've got vitamins and minerals when we mill our own flour. I am so happy to be on this journey, guys. If I have not said that, I know I joke around a lot, but that's just my personality. So I hope you enjoy it. But this is just a joy for me. If I had known about milling flour when my children were home, I would have been doing it. I would have been the first person on the train, and I would have been saying, "Oh, I've been doing it for decades now." But I didn't know about it when my kids were younger. But I did use whole wheat flour a lot when they were coming up. But this way of baking, I can do it for my grandkids now. So thank you so much for joining me today on Mrs. D's Baking TV. If you have any questions, comment down below. Hello to all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And old subscribers, remember, there are still regular flour recipes on my channel, so you can go back and look at some of those. If you're not ready to take this journey, but if you are, continue to follow along. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Bye. I know y'all wanted to know if I wanted to get my husband to do the taste test again. He already know he loves these cookies, so we don't need to bring him today, but we'll bring him next time. Be blessed. Bake with your family. Bye.